Welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to talk about top 10 love tales from various parts of the world. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. In both movies and literature, love stories abound. Romeo and Juliet are the most famous of all the stories about love and romance. The love they share is seen to be the purest and most powerful. The majority of well-known love stories have tragic ending, and almost all of the lovers had to fight for their love. Here is a list of the top 10 most famous love stories in history, complete with details. Number 10. Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Cleopatra was Egypt's last queen, and she was ambitious, energetic, spiritual, and intelligent. It was founded after Alexander the Great died. Mark Antony was a brave and blunt soldier who had been given control of the Roman world's eastern and western regions. After Julius Caesar's death, Mark, Caesar's cousin, suspected Cleopatra of involvement in Caesar's assassination and requested her to come forward and explain the situation. When she came to explain herself, instead of punishing her for her wrongdoing, he fell in love with her right away, and their love story began, and they married. Egypt assumed a strong position with the start of their intriguing, unforgettable, and touching love tale, which enraged the Romans, who were opposed to Egypt's powerful state. Because of its terrible ending, this couple's love tale is regarded as one of the most famous. Mark committed suicide by stabbing himself after receiving false news of Cleopatra's death during the war. When Cleopatra learned of Mark's death, she murdered herself by ingesting snake poison. Their bodies have been buried together at an undisclosed place. Number 9. Paris and Helen. Paris, the son of King Priam and Queen Hecuba of Troy, is also known as Alexander, and Helen of Sparta is arguably the most beautiful lady on the planet. Paris chose Aphrodite as the fairest goddess among the three goddesses Aphrodite, Athena, and Hera, and thus began their love tale. Helen, who was then married to King Menelaus, was the most beautiful woman Aphrodite promised Paris. Because of Helen's beauty, Paris fell in love with her right away. After a few years, Paris went to Sparta, kidnapped Helen, and brought her to Troy, sparking a massive war known as the Trojan War, in which Menelaus gathered a massive Greek army to attack and destroy Troy. Because of its tragic ending, Paris and Helen's love story is one of the most well-known. Helen returns to Sparta with King Menelaus after Troy is destroyed and lives there for the rest of her life. Number 8. Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. Mumtaz, originally named Arjumand Banu, was the daughter of a wealthy Persian nobleman, and Shah Jahan, the fifth Mughal emperor, was the intellectual emperor with an impressive physique. The two's love story began when they married and continued without incident until Mumtaz's death. Mumtaz was 15 years old when she married Shah Jahan. Even though she was not Shah Jahan's only wife, she managed to impress him and become his favorite. They had 14 children in total. Following the death of Shah's favorite wife, Mumtaz, he decided to erect a memorial to their love. Taj Mahal was the name given to the structure, which went on to become the most famous architectural masterpiece in history. Shah Jahan became ill after a few years and was deposed by his eldest son. He was then placed under house arrest, where he spent the remainder of his days staring at the memorial to his loving wife until his death. In Taj Mahal, his remains were buried next to Mumtaz's. Number 7. Lancelot and Guinevere. Lancelot was a knight of the Round Table and King Arthur's closest companion, and Guinevere was a lovely and magnificent queen. The love affair between these two is one of Arthurian legend's most well-known legends. Lancelot fell in love with King Arthur's wife, Queen Guinevere, at the start of the story. When they were in their chamber together one night, Agravain and Modred, King Arthur's nephews, along with 12 knights, set fire to the chamber and the lovers. Lancelot managed to escape the fire, but Queen Guinevere was not so fortunate, and she was trapped there for a few days. After rescuing her, he returned to weaken King Arthur's kingdom by splitting the Knights of the Round Table into two parts, Lancelot and Arthur. Even though he saved her from the evil plan, she became a nun and stayed at Amesbury until her death, leaving him to live out his days as a lowly hermit. Number 6. Napoleon and Josephine. Napoleon was a French military leader and emperor, while Josephine was born to a minor aristocrat in Martinique. Marie-Joseph Rose Tacher de la Pagerie was her birth name. Napoleon first saw Marie-Joseph Rose at a party and fell in love with her right away. He then requested that she change her name to Josephine because he disliked her previous name. Josephine initially refused Napoleon's proposal, but after learning that he was after someone else, she accepted his proposal and married him. Even though they were married, Josephine continued to have extramarital affairs. Napoleon was on a military mission in Italy, and he wrote her many letters inviting her to visit him, but she always found an excuse not to. She told him she was pregnant once, but when they finally met, she claimed she had miscarried. After a few years, Napoleon discovered Josephine's lies, the most painful of which was learning that she was unable to bear children. He then told her that they would stay married, but that his love for her had faded. Following this, Josephine resolved to be a faithful wife, but he divorced her and married Marie-Louise. Number 5. Anarkali and Salim. Anarkali was born in Iran and later moved to Punjab's Lahore. She was rumored to be a legendary slave girl. Salim was a spoiled and obnoxious heir to the throne. When Salim saw Anarkali performing mudra for the Emperor Akbar, he fell in love with her. He was instantly smitten by her grace and beauty. Anarkali was still a maid and a dancer despite her celebrity in Lahore. Because she was not of noble blood, their relationship was a secret one. After learning of their relationship, Akbar decided to arrest Anarkali and imprison her in one of Lahore's dungeons. Salim was sentenced to death as a result of his defeat. When Anarkali learns of it, she tries to help Salim, but she, too, is encased alive in a massive brick wall right in front of his eyes. Number 4. Saint Valentine. Saint Valentine was a 3rd-century Christian priest. Claudius II Gothicus, the Roman emperor, as opposed to army love and marriage, believed that the only reason soldiers did not want to return to work was because of their love for their families. Valentine was the one who promoted love by secretly marrying armies before they went to war. Claudius imprisoned Valentine and ordered his death when he learned of his deeds. Valentine fell in love with a blind girl, the daughter of a jailer, while incarcerated. He wrote a letter to his romance with violet-infused ink the day before his execution. The blind girl was able to see again after reading his message, which contained very profound words. Saint Valentine is regarded as a powerful figure among lovers and those who support love and affection. For all those young lovers whose feelings were buried by the Roman emperor, he devoted his life. Valentine's Day is observed on February 14 to honor Saint Valentine and his deeds. Number 3. John and Abigail Adams. Abigail, 1744–1818, was born in Weymouth, Massachusetts as Abigail Smith and married John Adams. John Adams, 1735–1826, was an American statesman, writer, attorney, and diplomat, and Abigail, 1744–1818, was born in Weymouth, Massachusetts as Abigail Smith and married John Adams. When Abigail was 17 and John was 26, the narrative began. They were married by Abigail's father, the local pastor, after being in a relationship for about 2 years. Abigail was eager to learn, so she learned to write, read, and understand political issues, but she never had the opportunity to attend school. She was usually forthright when it came to questions of equality. Both of them were deeply in love and backed each other up in every way. Even though they had to live apart during the Revolution time, they never stopped being in love. They exchanged letters that are still remembered today. Throughout their lives, they wrote about 1,200 letters. They only remained together after Abigail Adams was elected president. Until Adams' death, they stayed on their old farm. John died 8 years after Abigail. They are regarded as the best of friends. Number 2. Tristan and Iseult. Iseult was an Irish princess, and Tristan was a Cornish knight. Their love story is regarded as a powerful romance with a tragic ending. Tristan's uncle, King Mark of Cornwall, sent him to escort Iseult back to Cornwall to marry him, which started their adulterous relationship. Tristan and Iseult both fall in love at the first sight of each other. Despite their feelings for each other, she marries his uncle, King Mark, while continuing to have an adulterous romance with Tristan. When King Mark learns of the two, he exiles his nephew Tristan from Cornwall, but Iseult is spared. Tristan becomes ill after a while and sends a message to Iseult. Number 1. Romeo and Juliet. Romeo Montague is the male protagonist of William Shakespeare's tragedy, while Juliet Capulet is the patriarch of the House of Capulet's sole daughter. Romeo and Juliet's relationship is often regarded as the most renowned in history, and it culminates in tragedy. The two begin their love affair the moment they see each other for the first time. Even though they were from two hostile families, they fell in love and married, which resulted in a major bloodbath when Juliet's cousin, Tybalt, was killed. Romeo is banished after Tybalt's death, and Juliet fakes her death. Romeo receives incorrect information about Juliet's death and commits suicide at her tomb. Unfortunately, Juliet wakes up later and learns about the true incident, which causes her to break down and commit suicide next to Romeo's body. Following the deaths of the lovers, both families agree to put an end to their enmity. So that's it for today. What do you think of our video? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more from us, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications before you go. Thank you so much for watching us.